and I will also start recording as soon as I start in just about a minute, under a minute right now. So. All right, why don't I go ahead and get started? I'm going to start the recording. Let's do this. Well, welcome. Thanks everyone for joining in. Thanks everyone for popping in the chat. I see people are joining in from everywhere. New Zealand, Portugal, Buffalo, Los Angeles. So we have a really good diverse crowd. That's awesome. We have a relatively a small crowd, which is, again, is really good. We get to be as interactive as possible, and we get to, really get to know each other and work on the material. So that's really great. Just a few things to level set here. This is part one of part two of a workshop. So we do today and tomorrow, same time tomorrow, same Zoom link, same everything. And today we're going to be going through mostly teaching you Python. Python is the #1 language, programming language used for data engineering. And tomorrow we're going to do a little bit more advanced, like more closer to data engineering topics, which is using a Python library called Pandas, and we get to do some visualizations and data engineering topics there. I would say that this is very beginner level workshop. So this is really focused for beginner level folks. It's designed to give you information, just kind of get you started about coding, get you started about learning Python, and getting you a lot of information about data engineering. So what we're also going to do, I'm going to do a presentation. We did this as a webinar a couple of weeks back and had a really good, it resonated really well with a lot of folks. We did this hacking data engineering webinar. So in this webinar was a lot of good resources on how to, free resources to where to go and learn more about data engineering, how to get into the conversation, a lot of free online resources to learn, a lot of good resources to learn Python, SQL, to learn advanced skills. So I'll be doing this part of this webinar today as well for you guys. And then we also do the workshop. We did this workshop a couple weeks back. I don't actually recognize any of the names, but if you guys did this a couple weeks back, it's the same workshop. We're going to be going through the same material. It's a good opportunity if you want to just kind of go through it with another group. But pretty much all the material is exactly the same. Again, we have a small group. We can make this as interactive as possible. So feel free to go off mute, ask any questions on chat, or just just talk. We want to make this as interactive as possible. So a little bit about me. I'm Parham Parvizi, or just a lot of friends just call me Par. My email is right there, parham@DataStack Academy. I've been a data engineer before the term data engineer was really famous, so about 20 years or so. I taught myself computers, when I was about 15 or 16, taught myself coding. There used to be a Barnes and Nobles, which is a pretty popular bookstore here in US, just down the street from me. And I used to just ride my bike, read some books, put in a little notebook, bookmark in it, and then run back, try coding. Just every time I had a question. I mean, internet wasn't, this might age myself, like there wasn't a lot of resources available on internet back then. So I had to just go back and forth every time I had a question, just read from the book, which was fun. But I did actually go to school for computer engineering, not so much computer science, but I really got into more of the software side of things after I graduated, and I just got really lucky in my career. I got involved with a company named Talent, which is a huge data engineering / ETL tool that's pretty popular very early on when they were just about 15 or 16 employees. So I got very lucky there, and they really grew up and grow to be a publicly traded company and a very popular tool. So that really built my career. Again, I got lucky, where I got connected with sort of big data companies and the cloud companies early on, where all of that was taken off in 2010. And in around 2016, I started my own data consulting company. I still do that a little bit, but in 2020, I started Data Stack Academy, which is a data engineering boot camp, a coding boot camp. So we have a 6-month-long course that we teach data engineering, and we provide internships, to a lot of students. We'll talk a little bit about that all the way at the end, but we're here to talk mostly about data engineering and the workshop today. Usually I also have with me my coworker, Alma. She is incredible and also an instructor for the bootcamp. Unfortunately, she came down with a cold, so she's not here tonight, but hopefully she'll be here tomorrow night and you guys get to meet her. She's just fantastic. I'll let her introduce herself tomorrow. So a little bit about the agenda today. As I said, for about 20 minutes, I'm going to do this presentation about hacking data engineering and give you guys a lot of good resources to go learn more about data engineering on your own. A lot of free resources, free online tutorials, classes, and also a lot of places to just go get in the conversation, hear about data engineering, getting into the forums, getting into the discussions, and a lot of good material there. And more importantly, actually, we're going to give you a lot of hacks about how to get your first job as a data engineer. And that would be in the second portion of the presentation towards the end. Around 6 p.m., we're going to break out into breakout rooms. So we'll do breakout rooms, and usually we say 2 per room would be a good number. And in each room, you guys can work together and do the workshop. I'll give you guys the workshop prompt. It's pretty much go at your own pace. There's a little notebook that you just read the instructions, and there's exercises there. So you're going to just read the instructions, do the exercises. That's designed to get you go through Python. You can take a short break around 6:30, 6:35. Use the bathroom, go get a glass of water, go get another drink. We'll meet back in the main room, or in this main Zoom room, at 7, and I'll do the part 2 of the hacking data engineering presentation, which again is giving you guys resources and giving you guys those tips and tricks about getting that first job as a data engineer, which might be pretty interesting to everyone here. And between 7:15 to 7:30, we'll just open it for a Q&A session, and that's a good time for all of us to get to know each other a little bit more. Just ask any questions that you might have. So without any further ado, I'll just jump right into the hacking data engineering portion. So data engineering is a very, very popular field in tech now. It's actually the #1 fastest growing field in technology, and we'll get to talk about that a little bit. But we truly believe to get into data engineering, you got to start this as one step at a time. Just take one step at a time, and the presentation is going to give us those steps to follow. The process is fairly long. I would say if you're doing this on your own, it will take about 6 months or so. But if we follow this process, at the end of the day, I'm fairly sure that we can get a job as data engineers, because there's a lot of jobs out there, and there's just not enough data engineers applying for those. So we're going to talk about over the next few slides how to join the discussion, how to learn more about data engineering, a lot of good podcasts, blogs, resources that you can go sign up and get more information about data engineering. We're going to talk about what it takes to actually set up a development laptop that is focused for data engineering. We're going to give you guys a lot of resources to go learn Python and SQL, which are the basic skills for this field, how to build these skills, and how to build an online profile on GitHub. GitHub is like the social media for developers or coders. It's where you can showcase your skills in your portfolios. And this is going to be very important as you're building your career as a data engineer. We're going to talk about learning the advanced skills. So what are some advanced tools and technologies that we need to learn before we get that first job as data engineer? We're going to also talk about how to get your hand on real world projects and challenges. It's actually fairly hard to get your hand on large data sets that allow you to kind of develop those advanced data engineering skills. So we're going to give you some tips and resources there as well. And probably the most interesting thing here for everybody, I'm going to give you a lot of tricks about how to land that first job as a data engineer. And finally, we're going to close it out with some online certifications that we can follow that really help us land that first job as well. So as I said, data engineering is the fastest growing field in tech. For 2 years in a row by DICE, data engineering has been reported as the #1 fastest growing field in tech, and it has been growing around 50% year after year. And that really shows an amount of jobs that are available for data engineering. So when we did this little slide, it was around beginning of January, there was 40,000 actively data engineering job listing on Indeed in the United States. And the interesting thing is there was only 6,000 people applying for those. So there's a big gap in the market and there's a big need for more data engineers. And that really shows in the average salary. When you look at the average salary, you can see that the average salary for data engineering is around 119K, which is, again, the highest in tech right now. And that's just basic, supply and demand. There's a lot of jobs, there's a lot of people looking for data engineers, and there's not too many data engineers who are applying for those. So this is really, again, great time to be in this field. Step one, how do we know more about data engineering? How do we get into the conversation? What are some good resources? As I go through this, by the way, there's a lot of links on these slides. I'm going to send you guys the digital version of these slides. So don't worry about taking notes of these links. You'll have them, you'll get them. So really just focus on the content. But I'll send you all of this stuff at the end, and you can have all these links and all these resources on your own. I'll also send you like a cheat sheet, which is really good. You can easily share that with anybody else who's interested at the end. So my #1 trick for hearing more about data engineering is actually setting up Google Alerts. I have this on my own. Google Alerts is very nice. You can give a search keyword. So you can say data engineering jobs or data engineering training resources. And you can set a level of aggregation where you like to receive like emails or notifications about these like new things that have been posted every week. Usually I have this set up every weekly. So every week I get blog posts about data engineering or new data engineering jobs or new training resources. And I just sit through those and read them. I highly recommend doing this. The best resource that I'm going to give that we have for data engineering is probably Reddit and subreddit. I know some of you guys probably are familiar with Reddit. Reddit is a great resource, great online community. There is a data engineering subreddit. And if we go there, it's a really active subreddit community. It has 66,000 subscribers. All the questions are tagged. There's daily discussions. What I really like, again, all these tags. So there's like stuff about career, there's stuff about like how-to topics. You can see the tags, you can follow them. There's a lot of good conversation about where do you go learn more about data engineering, like Python certification, where do I get certification? There's a lot of good actually beginner level stuff, like where do I go to learn data modeling for engineering? And if you're familiar with subreddit or Reddit, everybody upvotes answers. So it's very easy to quickly see what's, the most relevant resources. I highly, highly recommend this. Another great resource that I found is Data Talks Club with Alexei Gregorov. This guy, he's doing a lot of good stuff. There is a weekly newsletter, which I highly recommend subscribing to. And every week, They compile a lot of events, a lot of data engineering events. They also have weekly, like book of the week, articles of the week, blog of the week, and it's a nice little like weekly aggregate of what's going around data engineering. They also have a Slack channel, which is very active. So that's a great place to just ask questions. You know, how do I do this something? If you have trouble like learning a material, you know, you can ask all of those things on their Slack channel. And they also do these Zoom classes. So these very short, like 1 week long Zoom camp. Again, just a quick check. You guys are able to follow the screen and the slides. Just give me a quick yes on the chat if you can. Another great resource is a podcast called The Data Stack Show. Perfect, thank you. This is more towards like mid-level to senior data engineers, but if a podcast is a good way for you to consume material, maybe you just want to hear to conversations, you know, at the gym or to commute to work, that's a really good medium to also you know about this. This also might be how you guys found out about Ars Workshop, but you can always subscribe to tags, like data engineering tags on LinkedIn and Eventbrite. And that's a good way to get just notified about any events that are going on online. For local events, I highly recommend doing meetups here in Portland. We have
people would like to gather data, they like to play with data, but also that kind of engagement and commitment on the business side, they will actually work with data.
All right, they went on mute. All right, perfect. These are some of the really good meetup groups on, you know, around our area in Portland, Oregon. We have Women in Tech, Women Who Code, Free Code Camp, which provides a lot of like free learning materials. But just go on Meetup and just search your local community. I'm sure you find a lot of good data engineering resources. All right, so how do we set up our development laptop and what do we need? Data engineering is usually, you know, around working with large amount of data. So you need a fairly decent operating system and a laptop to work and be able to go through a lot of tutorials online. I would highly recommend having a Ryzen or Intel i7 core with at least 8 gig of RAM. These are like a little bit, you know, multi-core processors, a little bit faster. 8 gig is really minimum. I would recommend 16 gig would be much more preferred. I know, don't worry if you don't, if you're not going to go, you know, you can't go buy like an iMac or a MacBook Pro, you know, with that Intel 7 processor. I know those could be very expensive, like $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. A lot of times you can actually get used laptops for much cheaper with the same sort of specs, and you can install just Ubuntu on them. So you can get a 5 or 6 year old laptop that has the same sort of specs for much cheaper, and just install Ubuntu. Ubuntu is a much leaner software. I've been running it for about 8 years. I've had no problem, and it just runs so much faster and better on an old piece of hardware. So I will highly recommend that as well. For a development environment, as a developer, as a coder, we use an IDE. You know, this desktop application will allows us to code and write our code, debug our code, run our code. By far, the most popular nowadays is VS Code. And you can go and install that on your laptop. Again, a lot of these are links. So when I send this to you guys, you can just go there and follow the instructions to install these software. If you have Windows, I would highly recommend enabling a Windows feature that's called WSL, or Windows Subsystem for Linux, that allows you to run an Ubuntu shell inside your Windows environment. And as data engineer, again, we mostly work with Linux and Linux based CLI. So having that Ubuntu shell allows us to do a lot of those things even inside a Windows environment. Of course, you would have to install Python and some other Python libraries. One of this, oh, I see we are also coming up our time, so I'm going to speed this up. one of these libraries is Jupyter Lab, which is a very similar tool as we use in our workshop today. So go ahead and do that. The other two tools that you have to install, one is Docker, which allows us to run a lot of other programs and install a lot of other programs very easily on a laptop. So as data engineers, a lot of times we work with databases or other pieces of technologies, and Docker just makes that super easy. And Git, again, is a tool relative to GitHub. That's the way that we can post a lot of our code to our online GitHub profile and build that sort of like social media coding profile. So first and not least, the most basic skill that we learn as data engineers is Python. Python is by far the #1 language used by data engineers. Around 70 or 80% of data engineers use Python. And what a better language, because actually, I don't know if you guys know this, Python is actually named after the, BBC British comedy show, the Monty Python series. So just pretty cool, a language that's based out of like a British comedy show. One of the very first resource that I list for us here is a YouTube video. It's about 6 hours long, watch YouTube video. It's really good and thorough. It takes about 6 hours. This is a really good way to just see if Python is for you. Just maybe go through it over the weekend or schedule it over 3 days over a week, in the afternoons or in the evenings. But that's a good way to just kind of dip your toes, see if that's for you. Don't worry about really learning all the details. This is more a good resource for us to dip our toes and see if this is for us or not. I love interactive learning, so I'm going to list a couple very interactive Python resources, free interactive Python resources here. First one is Scrimba. And if we go here, this is a nice interactive Python course. It's very short, bite-sized sort of modules. So you see each lesson is about five minutes or no more. And it's lessons and exercises. So this is really good. You don't really have to install everything. You can do everything here on the web. So it's a great way to learn Python, and just kind of schedule this, in your evenings or your free time. There's another one, Educative, which is the same course as well. Again, these bite-sized learning and challenges is the #1 way to learn. So you want to kind of break things into these bite-sized lessons and do as many challenges as you can as you're learning this. Coding is all about repetition. So once you learn something, just do as many challenges and make sure we do those challenges. So it just becomes kind of muscle memory. Solo Learn is a great place that has a lot of these challenges, and they have challenges for almost every programming language. If we go in Python, you can see that they have a lesson and then a lesson and practice. And maybe a good way for us to learn is to do some cross-training. Maybe we'll learn on Simba, but then come do the challenges here on Solo Learn. Also, Solo Learn has like an app, a mobile app. So even if you're like in transit, sitting in the bus, that's a good way to do those challenges. Just go on their app and you get a little prompt. You can do those and then move on to the next. I highly, highly recommend this. Again, programming is all about repetition. So learn, exercise, repeat, repeat, repeat. I'm going to add another resource here, Hacking Science, another good resource that has a lot of these mini, short 5 to 10 minute challenges. And for SQL, I'm going to do the same thing. There's a lot of good online SQL resources, but to get your feet wet, Mosh again has a really great SQL YouTube video on YouTube, which I post that resource here. Okay, with that, I'm going to stop. We're going to do the second half of this presentation again around 7. We'll meet back here in the main room, and I'm going to take you guys what you will do as a workshop today. So I'm going to post this link. This is a Google Collaboratory. So Google Collaboratory is a notebook. It's an online notebook, so you can do everything online in your browser. You don't have to install everything. And the way it works, it has instructions. You can follow the instructions. Good thing to note here is this notebook, which I'm going to share the link right now in the chat. Let me do that. You can open this on your own. And I'm going to send that to everyone in the chat, the link. You can open that in your own browser. Prefer Chrome because it's a Google tool. The first thing you do, try to copy this in your own drive. And with that, you need a Gmail account. So the only thing here, the requirement is that you need to have a Gmail account. So in your browser, just make sure you're signed into a Gmail somewhere. So you see this little icon here. So it knows that I'm signed into my Chrome. And once you do this, that's automatically sign in. Once you do save a copy in Drive, it prompts you where you want to save it. That creates your own version of this notebook, which you can edit. So our version, when you open this link, you won't be able to edit or run any of the codes here because that's read-only for everyone. But when you make a copy your own, then you'll be able to edit and follow those instructions. All of those steps are actually right here in the beginning. And the way notebooks works, again, it has instructions. So you read the instructions on your own or with your pair in your breakout room. And then when there is code cells, so these cells that are great, these are Python code cells, you can edit these and you can run them your own. So you just edit them. If there's an exercise that prompts you to make an edit, you can make that edit and then hit this play button or run button next to it, and that will run it. Again, you must have your own copy to be able to do that. So the way we're going to do this, I'm going to open up breakout rooms. I'll let you guys choose your own breakout room, but usually 2 per breakout room is a perfect number. You'll just follow these instructions on your own. I would highly, highly recommend to make this as interactive as possible. So if one of you guys feels more comfortable, share your screen in your breakout room, engage, go off mute, talk to your pair, kind of do this. Yeah, do this with someone else. Do this as a group. Don't just sit there quiet, please. Do it on your own. Share your screen if you're comfortable. Go as a team and try to engage and talk with each other. I'll kind of circle the breakout rooms and make sure you guys are doing okay. But I'll let you just choose your own room. Again, this is a tight group, so get comfortable, go off mute, share your screen, all of that stuff. And we meet back here at 7 in the main room. So let me do that. As I do this, do you guys have any questions? Please feel free to go off mute, ask questions, all of that good stuff. All right. Let me make the breakout rooms. So we have, let's see, how many people do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'll go ahead and make 4 breakout rooms, but I'll let you guys kind of just do, just pick any room that you want. 2 per room would be a pretty good number. All right, I'm going to open those rooms right now. All right, feel free to go join the rooms. And again, we'll meet back here at 7 p.m. West Coast time. I'll just circle through the breakout rooms and make sure you guys are doing fine. If you have any questions, feel free to stay here in the main room and just go off mute, ask if you have any questions about the prompt and so forth. Dominique, is that Richard? If you guys want to, choose a breakout room, go ahead. If not, if you have any questions, please feel free to go off mute and ask. Zed, I'm gonna assign you to room 2 because there's only one other person there. Hi, Zed. If you're still there, I assigned you to room 2. Let me know if you have any issues signing into that. Hey, Dan, welcome back. Just gonna wait for Cynthia and Dominic to join back in here too. Oh, Cynthia's here. Welcome back. And Dominic's here too. Nice, we got everyone. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Good. Good. Awesome. So don't worry about if you didn't get to finish everything. They're designed, so you can take it home and do it on your own time. Yeah. What I'll do the second part of the presentation, and then we can just do Q&A. Again, it's a pretty small, tight group, so feel free to stop me, ask questions, all of that good stuff. Also, if you like, share your video. If you want to see each other, all good. All right, so let me share my screen again. And do the presentation. Share, come on. Oh, there we go. All right, I'll pick up where we left off. So the next step in that kind of 10-step guideline is as we're like learning coding and data engineering and working on projects, we should always post our code on GitHub. So GitHub is like a way that you can post your coding projects or your projects on the cloud or online. It's kind of like the social media again platform for coders or developers. You can go there, you can look at other people's profile or portfolio. What's happened, a lot of employers like use this as a way to like vet resources or people who they want to hire. I definitely, whenever I make a hire, I really actively use GitHub. I go there and see the kind of coding profile, see what type of project somebody has worked on, all of that good stuff. So just to show you, like, this is actually like my profile. And you can see the active projects that somebody has. Again, my own profile doesn't have too many public projects. Most of my projects are on there, like DataStack or the other companies. But what's really important here is this graph. You want to show this trend of that you've been consistently working on projects in code. And as you're posting things on GitHub, this graph really builds over time. So this is what I say, as you're learning, as you're doing things, as you work in projects, post everything on GitHub so this trend starts to build and you can show that you've actively been coding. GitHub is also a great place to explore other people's code or projects and actually get involved. So once you start working on a few things, like this explore page would actually show you some other projects that people are doing that could be relevant to you or interesting to you. But you can also just see, go to trending, like what projects are trending. You can always apply in these filters. So for example, I want to see like Python projects, right? Anything that's in Python, I apply that filter, and I just list a lot of these trending projects. This one has like 3,400 likes or starts, and if you like look at it, usually each project has this README page, which tells you like what technologies it's using, what it's doing, how to use it, and a lot of them like have this quick start, which is really nice. A lot of them also have this like contribution. I see if this one has it. Yeah, this one has it. So even if you want to contribute to this project, so you want to be one of the people who's coding and like contributing with the others and working with others, there's usually a guide on how to do that, and you can see like how many people are working on this project. This is the list of contributors. This project is actually a really active project. It's got 217 people who are coding on this project together, which is really nice to see. So can't emphasize this enough. Go on GitHub as you're learning, as you're doing projects, as you're doing exercises, put those on GitHub so you start building that trend and you can show how you've been improving your coding skills. Now I'm gonna just put on the screen a series of logos, and these are sort of advanced data engineering tools that are very popular in the market. And you can go and learn these. We can go learn these on our own. So these are the popular ones. Again, I'm just putting these logos out here. The important here to note is you don't have to know all of these for sure to get a job as a data engineer. Any single one of these, knowing any single one of these tools as a data engineer is going to land us that first job. These popular tools like dbt, airflow, spark, snowflake, these are some of the tools that we might hear in forums. My favorite actually right now is probably Apache Airflow. It's very hot. It's a lot of people are using it for data engineering. It has great documentation, really easy to work with. dbt also as well. It's gotten very popular in the last couple of years. It's a tool used for data warehousing and using SQL. It has just fantastic, again, online documentation. There's an online course that you can go through. It's right on their homepage or documentation page. Spark is kind of like the bread and butter for data engineering. It's one of the big data tools that enables like data processing, a massive amount of data. It's kind of those like almost like must to know, or if you're working with large amount of data sets. Snowflake, another great cloud data warehousing tool that's been very popular in the last 5 or 6 years. Our only recommendation is that as we're learning these, make sure we learn these on the cloud, because pretty much everybody's going on the cloud these days. All new projects are on the cloud. Azure, Google, I prefer an Azure and Google, and I can get to that a little bit later versus AWS. But all of these technologies exist on these clouds. So as we're learning, make sure you can also sign up for these clouds for free. They usually start you up with some cloud credit, and we can learn these skills on the cloud. So like I said, it's typically hard to get our hands on real world data and real world projects, but there is a great data science / data engineering website called Kaggle, which has a lot of these resources. So if we go to Kaggle, they have a lot of great data sets. What's really nice about the data sets is they're all categorized. So you can see like public data, these popular data sets, or if there's a specific category that interests you, more like, I don't know, movies or social justice, economics. They have all these categories, or, healthcare, cancer, even COVID. And you can browse any of these data sets. I don't know, let's go to anime data set, for example. And each data set kind of gives you a preview of the data, and it has a little bit of description where this data comes from, what are some of the fields of this data, what do they mean. You can download them right from here, and then you can use them as a project. So it's a great way to get some data sets. What they also have like these courses. So they're actually intro to programming or Python or machine learning or Pandas courses. These are great courses that you can take. They're all free. And what's really interesting here is, aside from the discussion, is competitions. So companies also host these projects or competitions on Kaggle, and then anybody can join those competitions. You can get in a group, or join a group who actually is coding together for one of these competitions, and that's a great way to kind of showcase again on your GitHub profile. That's a great way for us to showcase to employers later, put it on our resume, put it on our profile, and that's really, that's really, really great. So Kaggle.com, remember this name. All right, probably the moment that you have been waiting for. I want to give you guys some hacks for getting the first job as data engineer, and what are some ways that we can better equip ourselves to land that first job as data engineer. Again, first and foremost, is to do a lot of challenges. A lot of companies nowadays, especially for people who are self-learners or who come from a boot camp, don't come from like a 4-year CS degree, even people who come from a four-year CS degree, a lot of companies are giving technical interviews. And the best way to prepare for those is to do a lot of those challenges, those type of challenges ourselves. So hacking science, solar, these are the tools that I showed you a little earlier. These are great way to do those sort of exercises. I literally like recommend like doing a time, like put in a timer for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, get a prompt, get a new challenge, try to do it. And a lot of, again, these resources, they show you the answer. So after you've tried to do it on a timely, untimed, then look at the answer, see how you can improve your code to get there. Another great resource, somebody showed this to me a few weeks back, and it's just, I fell in love with it, is Clash of Code. So this is a really great website that makes these coding challenges. They're like little mini coding games that you get in and you do with other folks. So they've really gamified this. It's super fun. There's like a leadership board where you can see how other people score. Of course, when you're starting, you're not going to get there. Some people are super crazy and do this all the time. But like, you can, let's see, how do we, like compete. So you can just go here. You can see there's like a room starting right now. There's just 5 minutes before this room would start. It will show you actually how many people are in the room already. There's a lot of different rooms, a lot of different sort of these games that you can join. And again, don't be scared. If you're just starting this, they have a lot of good resources. For example, there's these like practice ones. Yeah, so you can even do like a couple of the practice rooms before you get into the main rooms. But it's just fun. It's really great. Again, it's timed. You get the same prompt as everybody else. You do the challenge, but the best part is that afterwards you get to see everybody else's solution, and that's really great for learning. Afterwards, like, okay, you can see how everybody did this, and that's really super simple. All right. The other resource that I would say, and people are very conflicted on this, is when we first are trying to get a job, we are building our resume. The most important thing for us is to show that we've actively worked on a lot of projects and we have some experience. And one of the places to get some of that experience are in these like sort of consulting or freelancing sites like Fiverr or Upwork. I know there's a lot of people who really underbid projects there, who say, "Oh, I do this project for $10, and it's obviously it's not realistic." But there are also a lot of good projects there. There's a lot of ways for us to get connected to those projects, even if it's volunteering for your friends or family or someone else that you know. Do those. Do as many projects so you can build your resume. You can put those on your profile. Again, you host some of these maybe even on a GitHub page, and you can really showcase that we can, we're working on some of these some projects. The other big tip that I have is we can get smart to get connected with people who really need us the most in the job market. And I think that is a lot of data consulting or professional services companies. There are data professional services companies. These companies are doing projects for their client. Whenever they get a new project, they usually need to staff up immediately to be able to do that project. So they're looking to hire resources immediately. They usually have a pool of like senior and then junior resources. So it's really a great way to go there maybe as a junior resource and get paired up in a team with senior developers and get a lot of that experience. And the other big thing is for data consulting companies or professional services companies is that they work on a lot of different projects with a lot of different clients. And as data engineers, in tech in general, it's great to be exposed to a lot of different technologies, a lot of different projects, and consulting companies get that to us very quickly, and it enables us to quickly kind of, just advance our career in 2-3 years, become like a much more senior data engineer and have much higher salaries. Last but not least, I highly encourage you guys to talk to like recruiters. Again, this is kind of getting smart how to get that job. Recruiters, it's their job to find us a job. So you can go on LinkedIn. A lot of these sites like make it super easy. You can put that tag like freelancer or looking for work on your profile, and just let the headhunters, let the recruiters talk to you. Don't be scared to talk to them. Again, their job is to assess our skills and then match us with a good company, and just let them do that. Talk to them, tell them about your skills, tell them what you're looking for, and then let them do the work. I think that's a great resource. Last but not least, just a couple of certifications that we can go get on our own that helps us land that first job. Right now, actually, both Azure, Amazon, and Google Cloud have associate level data engineering certifications. On the web pages for these certifications, there's actually a list of resources, free resources that they give you to prepare for that certification or exam. It may take anywhere between 2 to 4 to 6 weeks to prepare for that exam, but that logo is going to really help us land that first job. And again, out of those, I would kind of highly recommend Google, because I think they give the best amount of resources to prepare. Don't really worry about which one you go for. Cloud are fairly agnostic. Like once you can show that you're pretty good with one cloud, employers think that you can easily kind of learn the things on the other cloud. The underlying technologies are all these clouds are pretty much the same. There's slight differences. The certifications might kind of prepare you for those slight differences, but if you get one certification, that shows an employer that you can get the other ones, or at least the base knowledge. Again, I highly recommend the Google or Amazon one here. Just a little bit about us. We're DataStack Academy, so we do offer a data engineering bootcamp. Our program is about 6 months long. It's about 4 months of classes, and then about a month and a half of internship. So we place our graduates actually in an internship. That's a great way to get some experience. All our graduates have to do this 5 to 6 week internship, and we just match them with a company that is affiliated with us, and that's a great way to get that experience, put something on a resume, or just get a foot in the door. We do offer a lot of these webinars and free events. There's a link here that you can go and see a lot of our events. I also posted a link here to schedule a one-on-one call with me. I'm a big data engineering enthusiast here, so that link is a calendar link. It goes directly on my calendar. Yes, feel free to use that link anytime. I would love to talk to you and answer any questions you might have. As part of a data engineering bootcamp, you can sign up, or people can get more information just on our website, which is datastackacademy.com. But we also partner with a local bootcamp here. For those of you in Oregon, you might know this company, Epicodus. So the program is actually available as one of the Epicodus tracks on this bootcamp school. If you go to epicodus.com, you see data engineering track. That's the same. That's us. That's DataStack bootcamp. Then that's it. And I promise I will also send you guys this at the end of this. So you'll get all the slides, but you also get this little cheat sheet. So this is all of this slide just kind of condensed into one slide or one page. Feel free to share this with, or any of this information actually, with anybody you know. Please just spread the word, let people know about these resources, and let people know about us if you like. So that's it. I like to stop here. Maybe I'll actually stop sharing. It's only 3-4 of us, so feel free again to go off mute. Tell us about our experience. Tell us how the workshop was. If there's anything we can do to improve. If you have any questions, yeah, jump in. And feel free to, again, share your video if you're comfortable with that. Go off mute, all of that fun stuff. It's a small group.
I have a question. If we are to enroll in the data engineering like bootcamp, are we going to go over like any of these like resources you shared, or is it something we should be doing simultaneously outside of the program?
Yeah, great question. So our bootcamp, actually, I should have mentioned that, is designed to just start from scratch. So we actually kind of pretty much start from step one. We have a full Python program, a full SQL program. Then we teach you actually 3 out of those tools. We teach you dbt, we teach you Airflow, and Spark. That's also part of our program. Our program is completely built on Google Cloud. So pretty much from day one, actually, you get to work on a lot of these technologies right on Google Cloud. So at the end, I would say actually with a little bit of preparation, our students are able to easily get that Google Cloud certification because they've been working the whole time on the cloud. So no prerequisite to our course. We just kind of start all the way from beginning, and you'll start with our instructor, which hopefully you'll see tomorrow, Alma. She's just incredible. I'm also there pretty much almost every day, as the mentor or co-instructor in the class. I would highly recommend doing some Python work on your own before you start the class. That's just going to make that the beginning a lot easier. A lot of people going to struggle with that, kind of wrapping their mind around like coding in the beginning, although we have a lot of great exercises, lessons, all of that stuff. But the more Python work that you can do on your own, the easier that first part of the course is going to be, and the easier you just kind of breeze through it.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. And keep an eye on the chat as well. Do you guys have any other questions?
Wow, this has been really great. Thank you.
Appreciate it, Tam. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate the feedback. So tomorrow, just giving you guys a heads up. Again, I'm hoping Alma would be here. I would love for you guys to meet her. She's fantastic. But she'll be going through Python Pandas. So there'll be another workshop, kind of workbook, just like today. And that one, Pandas is a more advanced data engineering tool. It's used a lot for data analytics and data visualization. And in that one, Alma actually sort of does the instruction a little bit. So it's a really good feel of what our bootcamp or our class is like. Although the material, it's just super condensed and designed to be at your own pace, etc. But that one is I would say a lot more visual tomorrow. We work with pandas, we work with a few different data sets, and we get to do a little bit more advanced data engineering skills. We're also planning these sort of like mini boot camps in our events or upcoming events. These are going to be like sort of like a one of those like 7-day yoga challenges. We're going to do like the 7-day data engineering challenge, where they're designed to be much shorter. So we'll do them like an hour a day or an hour and a half a day over like 4 or 5 days. But they would be kind of more advanced against skills. So they'd be geared towards like a particular tool, like one of those tools that we mentioned, etc. So keep an eye on for those events as well. We're just planning them now. We should probably roll them out in about a few weeks here. And if you're interested in signing up for the bootcamp, our next cohort starts on August 1st. And I know it's there's still definitely a few seats available, but they're filling up quick. So I would highly recommend either go on our website or epicodus.com. Actually, that's probably the best place to sign up, and all the information is there. But our next cohort started on August 1st. And if you guys like, I can send you more information about that as well.
Yeah, I think I was gonna hold off for the part-time program for whenever that gets up and going.
Yeah, Cynthia. Yeah, yeah, a lot of people are asking for that for the part-time program. So we are in talk with them because there's a lot of things that are in place. It will also be through Epicoda's part-time program. Right now, we are targeting the October 10th. There's a cohort that starts on October 10th, and we're targeting to be able to do that. I will know more as we go along if we can actually make that, because again, there's a lot of moving parts. But the part-time program is interesting because it's Monday through Wednesdays, 6 to 9 p.m. and then Saturdays, 9 to 5. It is a bit more commitment as far as saying, because it's half of a full-time course per week, half of work hours, it takes twice as long. So it goes to about 8 months or so. But that's a great program. Yeah, if you can do the full-time, which is kind of 8:30 to 5, that's a good evening program that makes it available. I'll definitely let you know when I know more about that and if we can make the October 10th timeframe.
Cool. Thanks.
Awesome. How are you feeling, Dominic? Any questions?
No, it was all great. Thanks.
Awesome. Well, if you guys don't have any more questions, we can cut this short. Yeah, let you guys, I mean, you guys are in Portland, go enjoy this gorgeous hot day. But the rest of it, in LA, Tam, it's always nice and sunny. But here, it's been kind of a rare thing this year. So.
Well, thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, take care, guys. See you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.